local, and national stories that touch your life. The Jared Goodell Show. 99.9 FM and 1370 WFEA.
718, good morning to you. Jared Goodell alongside, talking about this tragic story from right here in Manchester. A 62-year-old woman from Bedford out for a walk Sunday night when she was seemingly randomly gunned down. She's been identified as Denise Robert, a longtime employee of the New Hampshire Union Leader. Just a sad, scary story, too, specifically because the gunman is unknown and on the loose, and we don't know the motive for this murder. I'll get you up to date with all the latest details on this story. Trent Spinner, the executive editor of the New Hampshire Union Leader, joining us now. This victim, Denise Robert, a coworker of yours. Trent, good morning to you.
Hi, Jared. Thanks for having me.
This is a scary story. What we heard yesterday morning was that, possibly a 30-year-old woman was shot Sunday night. Later in the morning, we learned that it was, in fact, a 62-year-old woman, Denise Robert of Bedford, who, like I said, was just out for a walk Sunday night, something that she did. She grew up in the neighborhood of Ray Street. She parked at a nearby church, went for a walk, as family members describe her doing many times, and then is just gunned down like a drive-by shooting. What do we know up to this point, Trent?
Well, first, I just want to talk about Denise for a second. Denise worked at the Union Leader since 1983 and was an incredible bright light at the office. She was always willing to share advice and story ideas and even just a smile in the hallway. And I'm still new at the Union Leader, but I did have a chance to meet her and talk to her, and she was just an incredible woman. And so we're incredibly, incredibly devastated about what happened. So we don't have many details, though, at this point. We know that she was very committed to work and very committed to her family and very committed to going to the gym. But her gym was closed on Sunday nights. So for the last 6 years, she would park at this church in the North End and walk around the North End, which is a very common activity in Manchester. As your listeners know, it's a very safe place to go. There are wide streets, so there are a lot of people who do this. And so, at this point, we don't know if it was a drive-by. We don't know if it was random. And the police are saying, we're just trying to track down any leads that we can.
Right, and what we do know from neighbors is that there was this pickup truck that kind of went by at around that time and didn't stop at a stop sign and kind of was driving quickly. And that truck police want to know who was driving that truck because, well, it might be a person of interest in this case, right?
Right. Yes. I mean, it's this truck, and there are differing descriptions of what the truck looked like. Some people said it was rust-colored. There was a younger guy in it, sort of close cropped hair. But there's really not that much to go on, and so police are looking for surveillance video from the area to see if they can figure it out. They've asked we've put out Denise's pictures on the front page today, and we've asked all kinds of anyone who has any information. Anyone who saw Denise, anyone who saw anything suspicious at all, the police are looking for anything they can get.
Trent Spinner with us this morning, the executive editor of the New Hampshire Union Leader. The New Hampshire Union Leader today grieving the loss of one of their own, Denise Robert, who was shot Sunday night while walking down Ray Street in Manchester. Denise Robert, 62 years old, from Bedford. Trent, the police released basically where Denise was at before this tragedy occurred, talking about that she went to the Executive Health Sports Center, that she was at the vitamin shop, then Walmart in Hannaford. Why would they tell us where she was at? Do they think that somebody might have been stalking her? Why give us that information?
Well, so the head of the homicide unit explained it to me like this. What they're trying to do is just put together a timeline to see if anything happened while she was out running those errands, to see if she bumped into somebody or there was something happened. They are really going on trying to find out just what the heck happened here, and so they will take any information at all. I mean, if you saw her at one of these stops, and you mentioned it, the Executive Health Sports Center, vitamin shop on South Willow Street, the Walmart, and Hannaford. If you saw her or saw something happen, police are looking for any help they can get.
Right, and just you can tell by her picture and reading all the comments and posts from coworkers and friends of hers and family. This isn't a woman that you would think would have anybody would have a grudge against or a problem with her, because she, from all accounts, she was just a nice person.
Right, and that's the thing. And that, when we first heard yesterday morning that it was Denise, we said, no way, that's not possible. And the family said the same thing too. There is a 62-year-old woman who works incredibly hard. I'm telling you, she's at the office more. She was at the office more than me. She lives with her mother. She has a very peaceful life. She's 62. Who could have a grudge against Denise? And that's sort of the thing that's going through everyone's mind. And I think that's why you hear the word random coming up, because everyone thinks there's just no way that something could have happened, that Denise could have been involved with something that would have led to this. And so that's why, and I know I've said it, harped on it, but that's why we're just asking for anyone with any information to come forward.
Right, and we hate to speculate here, but it does seem random. Chief Willard last night saying that, the random part is something they're looking into. Let's talk about that real quick, Trent. Is there a concern for the public? The Manchester Police, the New Hampshire Attorney General's office, not telling the public that they should be concerned, but is this a concern? Somebody out there who may have randomly shot a person is out there on the run right now. Should the public in Manchester and the surrounding communities be worried?
Well, here's what they say. They say we're increasing patrols in the area. We're increasing patrols across the city. The police chief has every single detective working on this case. And I can tell you that for a fact because a lot of the detectives were at the union leaders. They were pulled off of other cases, juvenile cases and drug cases. Every single detective in the city is working on this case. So I can understand from their perspective that it would be difficult to say that people in the North End are in danger because they just don't know what's happened. None of us know what's happened. So yes, if this was random, that's incredibly scary, but they aren't at that point yet where they can say this is random. They have to start from scratch and do their investigative work.
Trent Spinner with us this morning, the executive editor of the New Hampshire Union Leader, talking about a coworker of his at the Union Leader who was gunned down seemingly randomly in Manchester on Sunday night on Ray Street. 62-year-old Denise Robert going out for a walk, something that she did in the North End on Sunday nights quite often. There was a big meeting last night, a community meeting, neighborhood meeting with local police, obviously holding that, the Attorney General's office. What is the sense of neighbors in that area who, what they thought they heard was firecrackers on Sunday night? 10 minutes later, a 911 call because it wasn't firecrackers, it was a gunshot. How are neighbors in that area feeling right now, Trent?
People are scared. Let's be honest. People are scared. People don't know what's happening. There is this idea that this could have been random, and so nobody knows. I've heard from people, yesterday I heard from people who said, I was just there, I was playing football with my kids a block away, this is the North End, this doesn't happen here, all of that. And so people are scared, and I think you saw that coming out of the meeting. And I think the chief has really stepped forward to say, we're gonna do as much as humanly possible to make sure that you feel safe in your community. We're going to increase these patrols. And at this point, I think we're really just in a stage where we're trying to figure out what happened.
Right. The unanswered questions, that can make these sort of cases the most difficult sometimes, especially for the public when there's loss of life and it's seemingly random and we don't know who and we don't know why. That makes it kind of tough to swallow. Trent Spinner, the executive editor of the New Hampshire Union Leader, our thoughts with the Union Leader family, with you this morning, and of course with Denise Robert's family as well. Thanks so much for coming on this morning, Trent.
Thank you, Jared.
All right, unionleader.com, the Union Leader today featuring front page picture of Denise Robert. If you have any information, certainly call the Manchester Police. If you were driving in the area of Ray Street around 8:50, 8:45, 9 o'clock on Sunday nights, Ray Street, Carpenter Street, if you have any information, call Manchester Police. Mayor Ted Gatza speaking out last night as well, saying the city will do everything possible to bring Robert's killer to justice. Just a very, very scary story here, especially because, like I said, we don't know who, we don't know why, and the thought that something like this could be random. is just scary, especially stories that we're hearing from other parts of the country, where shootings are occurring. It can be scary out there. Manchester police not sounding the alarm for you to be concerned, but hey, you know what? When you're walking down the street at night, when you're walking on an unlit street, certainly be aware of your surroundings. And if you hear something, if you see something, definitely say something. Hopefully we can prevent these sort of tragedies from happening in the future. 844-94-JARED, the number to join the conversation this morning, 844-945-2733. We'll talk more about this tragic shooting in Manchester later on in the show. Lots more to get to today, including a HOA association, a housing association, trying to get family in trouble, to kick them out of the neighborhood simply because of the color of their family swing set. We'll talk about that story this morning in just a few minutes, plus marriage regarding gay, a ruling regarding gay marriage. Everybody talking about this morning. A Kentucky city clerk has a decision to make this morning. Is it the right decision? Should she have to make the decision? We'll talk about that in just a few minutes. 7:29 now on WFEA. Your news next. Good morning.
More Jared after the break.